Hey YouTube, it's been a while, again, because I've been busy with stuff, but I remember one of my subscribers was actually asking whatever happened to that project that I was working on, Project BoomBlaster. Well, it's been about a year since I've completed this thing, and I never actually made a follow-up video for it, so I guess this is happening today, so it's a little bit off the cuff. The reason that we're up in this room, in my room specifically, instead of the workshop in the basement is because it snowed today, and it is very cold down there, and I kind of don't want to shoot the video down there. So we're doing it from my room. So this is the Boom Blaster. So the original conception for this is that, ashamedly, I guess should I be proud about this? I tend to go to a lot of anime conventions and different conventions of such sort, like Comic-Con, Fanime, SAC Anime, stuff like that. And I tend to go out there, and I noticed that a lot of people were bringing what are called bump boxes out to these events and blasting their shitty weeb music everywhere. See, the weeb music wasn't so much that was annoying me. The fact that was annoying me was that Boombox, they have a good concept. I really like it. They have a really good concept. They make these big old 80s inspired boomboxes that, you know, they look cool, but the problem is they sound like crap. And I actually got to open one up because I had to fix one for one of my friends, because he said something was rattling around in it, and he said that I think it was the left side wasn't working. He had dropped it, so something fell out, and I guess that's a testament to their quality. You drop it once and it breaks. But I fixed it for him, and I took a look inside, and the woofers that they use on the bump box are the same woofers that you find at a flea market. That, like, if you're familiar with Parts Express, let's just say that it's a Goldwood woofer, a really, entry-level Goldwood woofer, that's had the cone repainted silver with the bump box logo. I'll give them credit though; they were using a Finlonic diaphragm for the horns that they have above them. But anyway, I'm getting off on a tangent. So the fact that bump box was making something that was cool looking but sounded like shit pissed me off. So I said, screw that. I am not going to buy a bump box. Instead, I'm just going to see if I can do something better. And this is my attempt. So again, because I go to these anime conventions, I decided to give this boombox a theme. So if you've ever played the game Splatoon, or Splatoon 2, like on the Wii U or the Nintendo Switch, you'll notice that they have their own language. They have a lot of like electronics and stuff like that. Like everything has a brand, and as you can see right here, like there's one of the Splatoon brandings there. I forgot what that one was. I think it was I can't remember. But yeah, it's all Splatoon themed. As you can see on the other side, I got more stickers on there. Let's see, this thing's kind of heavy. Got some more. That's the Firefin logo right there, and let's see. Yeah, it's got a bunch of stickers that I got from a guy on Etsy. But yeah, this is all Splatoon themed. So if you actually take a look at the branding that is right here, if you've ever played the game, DJ Octavio has this this brand pasted on his DJ controller. So I said, let's make something that's Octarian themed, and we'll make it look like an Octarian boombox of some sort, utilitarian looking, like it's got its function over form, but it's still got some sort of industrial look to it. So basically what I used on this is all 1/4 inch birch plywood. It's been covered in what's it called, bed liner, and to make this logo happen, I actually painted this with silver first, and then I took some painter's tape, and then I drew on the painter's tape what the logo was going to be, and I cut it out with a razor, and then after that, I left the tape on there, shot this entire thing in a bed liner, and then once it was semi-dry, I took a razor and peeled off the painter's tape, and that was the result. And then this is aluminum corner siding that you can find at Lowe's and stuff like that. These are cabinet guards from Parts Express. See, the tweeters are Goldwood tweeters. They are piezo horns. They're like the mid-high horns or whatever. I do have these crossed over. I don't have them running direct like most cheap PA speakers do, and they actually sound halfway decent with the crossover on them. They don't sound screechy or, you know, honky like they normally do, like piezo horns normally do. And these are all Pyramid, I think they're called WX65X? I think it's just WX65s. They are clear coned woofers. The reason I use these instead of any other speaker is for the fact that the cones are transparent. So, you know what? Let me show you what that means. Okay, so back here I have an RGB remote. So you might be asking what that's for. So let's go back here really quick. So what we have back here is a battery meter, a power selector. So I wasn't smart enough to figure out a circuit to switch it from AC to DC, so you have to do it manually. So if I flip it this way, well, it should be working. The battery might be dead. Yeah, battery's probably dead. Well, let's see. Yeah, battery's dead. Hold up. Let me get a power cord and plug this thing in. So it turns out, I guess using it once and then abandoning it for 8 months means the battery's definitely going to be dead. So, right now it's charging, but while I wasn't able to figure out an intelligent AC-DC switch other than the physical switch in the back, a good thing is that while it's powered, while it's being powered by mains, it'll also charge the battery. So, and it also keeps the battery from backfeeding and everything because it physically disconnects it while it's charging. So that's a good thing of my design, I guess. What isn't good about my design is the fact that I have a ground loop problem with this thing that I just can't figure out. So I'm just, I consider this project a success and a failure. And as you can probably note, it's missing the low contour. There is actually a BBE sonic maximizer in here. I shoehorned one in, and I am proud of that fact. But where was I? God, all my videos are so confusing because I have severe ADD. So it's plugged in AC mains right now, so we're gonna just power it on. And as you can probably hear right away, this MP3 board is noisy as fuck. I might replace it with something a little bit simpler, but this thing is not doing me any favors as far as my noise issue goes. So let's see. We left off at the RGB remote. So what the RGB remote is that it controls the lights that are the RGB lights that I installed behind these speakers. So going back on the statement that I said before, the WX65s by Pyramid, the reason I used those is because I could do this. Now we're going to encounter my my ground loop problems. The reason I put a party mode on this is because once the lights turn on, this thing gets super noisy. Can you hear that? It's mostly this spectrum analyzer. Even the spectrum analyzer is picking up the noise. It's saying it's around this area. But see, the last color that it was left on was green. Oh, it's overpowering the camera. Let's see if I can get it to focus on the speaker. Oh, quit doing that. Anyway. So we can choose a number of colors. And then if we decide that we want music, you know, to be music reactive, we just press the music button right here. And it should be defaulting to the music mode. So it'll just change the lights according to the music. Or you can put it in chaser mode. Let's see if it'll want to do chaser mode. There's chaser mode. Let's see. This camera seems to like blue better than red. So there you go. There's chaser mode. Let's see if I can get closer to one of the woofers. See if I can turn up the speed. So yeah, that's chaser mode on these, and then I'm just going to stick it to music mode. So that's basically it for this guy, and then you have the control panel here that does music. Yeah, it's dumb. Let me go find an SD card to shove in there so we can see the lights actually groove into the music. So I found us an SD card. I'm going to be using this one in. See if I can get this thing into frame. I custom printed the label for it, and let's see, I actually have an SD card thing filled for this specific boombox that I made for it. So I've got like 2 GB cards with little mixtapes printed on them, and yeah, ignore that one. And then I just keep miscellaneous SD cards in here. But anyway, let's pop this in and see what it does. I think it goes in that way. Oh, it's thinking. Oh. No, I don't want mode. I wanted to put it into shuffle. That's good enough. So, basic functions. Oh god, I'm going to turn off party mode just because that noise from the spectrum analyzer annoys me so much. See how much quieter it is now? So, I've got line in here, I have an aux in here, and if you recognize this, you know, I'm just going to shut it off. So if you recognize this plate is actually from a LePi amplifier. It's actually a copy of a LePi amplifier called a Kinter. It was a broken amplifier that I had laying around, so I actually used the faceplate. The low contour knob is missing because I broke it by accident. It's actually sitting right here, and I have to replace that pot, so I don't need to pull all this apart. And these are your function knobs for the spectrum analyzer. Again, I apologize for being so confusing. The ADD is a thing that I have to live with. Then back here, this is not actually a subwoofer. This is a 12-inch passive radiator. And for you Splatoon fans out there, if you take a look at DJ Octavio's speakers that he has in the final battle, you'll see that ghost-looking logo on there. And if you go to one of the stages, Starfish main stage, I think, you'll also see that logo plastered on all the speakers. So, yeah, this is kind of made by a fan, I guess. Me. And then their language right there where it says super, that's actually referenced from the Splatoon's Inkling language. That's as best as I could do. And then woofer, it just kind of just looks like woofer because those are they're the things that they're the letters they use in their little society. And as far as weight goes, this is actually weighs half as much as a bump box and is just as loud. The only problem is that I have that stupid ground loop issue that I can't seem to figure out. But other than that, it looks like at high volumes. At high volumes, the ground loop is not an issue because it stays at a constant volume. As soon as you start turning this knob up, the volume becomes a non-issue because you can't even hear it over all the music. These are actually from Lowe's. They're for a cabinet. I couldn't find ones that looked like the rack-mounted handles that you'd find in an old amplifier. But hey, it works. But basically, that's it. I'll have a sound demo for this thing outside once it decides to not be snow and cold outside. So I'll see what I can do for a sound demo on this guy. But as far as that goes, it's a thing I made, I guess. I don't know what I'm going to do with it now. I mean, you know, it's one of those things where it's the journey that was more fun than the destination, because it was really fun putting this thing together. But it's not so much fun now that it's just sitting around taking up space. So yeah, I might bring this out to more conventions. Don't know yet. I am bringing the big boy to Fanime 2019, or is it 20? We're in 2019 right now, right? Yeah. So Fanime 2019, I'm gonna bring the big boy with me. I'm gonna throw a DJ set of future funk on Friday night, and then Saturday night I'm just going to be playing a bunch of video game tunes mixed with some other music and maybe some memes. I don't know. That one's kind of up in the air. It's going to be like request night, so basically whatever the con goers want to tell me, and that's going to be powered off of, like I said in the last video, off of a car battery. But yeah, this thing was built because I hate bump boxes, I guess is the short version of it. Actually, quickly before I go, I'll put something up for a quick comparison. There we go. This is actually not a lot bigger than a Lasonic TRC 931. It's about the same width. I mean width as in how deep it is. It's just a little bit deeper. And just as wide, just as tall. So it's not much bigger than your normal run-of-the-mill 80s boombox. So it's quite more compact than a bump box. And because it's a passive radiator, well, I guess that's a design flaw. The passive radiator is nice, but if you have stuff that's front ported, it's always going to sound better because the bass is projected frontwards. But in order for this thing to sound its best, it needs to be up against the concrete wall because the bass is reflected back off the wall from the passive radiator in the back. But let's get you out of the way. But yeah, that's basically it for the BoomBlaster. I wish I had more electronics know-how to get this thing to work, but I've just got a basic self-taught, knowledge of this stuff, and I was just surprised that I was able to do something like this at all. But yeah, that's basically it. This is Radio Raccoon signing out. Have a good one.